was real young or something. It walks a little more into the clearing then stops. Looks directly at me through the scope. Already a little bit weird. I'm a good 400 meters out and in the shade. It shouldn't be able to see me and it shouldn't be able to catch any lens glare. Deer rears back on its hind legs, and the front legs just twist. I've seen deer on their hind legs before, but they can't put their front legs at their sides like humans can. This fucking thing does. Posture still isn't human cause deer don't have a center of weight like that, but it can put its fucking hooves at its side and it just stands and looks at me. Then it bolts across the clearing. Even then it's on two legs, even though it looks ridiculous, it's moving way faster than normal deer. If I had to eyeball it, I'd say this freak hit 30-ish. Get a long period to look at it. 20 seconds at least. Got that super forward-leaning sprint of sprinters, but it's a deer on two legs. It's not moving towards me, it's just headed across the clearing. Don't know why I didn't shoot it. I think part of my brain was still worried about the elk versus deer tag thing. Sounds really dumb saying it out loud, but I wasn't really worried, I was just baffled and kind of grossed out. After it's gone, tell my dad about it. He thinks I must have hallucinated it. I had only slept about 4 hours a night for the last 3 nights. I was a major insomniac in HS and sleeping anywhere but my house made it a lot worse. We walk out to the meadow to look for footprints. All we find is the pair of prints from where I saw it on 4 legs. Nothing from the 2-legged stage. Only weird detail is that the areas that it went through had a weird smell that both me and my dad noticed. Like old pennies and bleach. It was weird. I'm an atheist, so I generally don't put a lot of stock in the supernatural, but I gotta admit, that night shook me up. Weird shit. Hey. Not usually on /x/, but quarantine has brought me back to 4chan for the past week. I am a pretty average guy, and not much exciting has happened in my life. However, there is a story I tell regularly when the topic of most paranormal or otherworldly comes up. This is a UFO story that I promise is not exaggerated. Summer 2011. Around 10:30 p.m. Friend and I are coming back from girls' small get-together. Development was in the sticks, talking farms for days. Driving back home, trying not to hit any deer. Friend says he sees something moving in the sky. I remand the idea by saying it's a star. He insists this thing ain't normal. No one on the road for miles, so I stop and look. This thing is moving up, down, left, and right erratically, and it seems to be trackable. It eventually stops. Ash Ketchum hat turn. We speed up the road making sure it doesn't zoom off. I turned my lights off cause I drove about 10 feet into a farmer's land. I had a 96 Ford Mustang at the time and didn't want to get stuck. It is hovering about 500 feet away from about 25 degrees of our position. Can see the bottom pretty well. Triangular, with 3 bright lights on each corner. A faint, and much smaller red light in the center. Due to our position and the lack of light in this area, I can't see much else. We gaze in awe for about 30 seconds before the central red light blinks, and small objects fall out of it. Immediately afterwards it darts directly towards the atmosphere at speeds I cannot even try to estimate. Still visible as just a bright light. Erratically moves again for less than 5 seconds. Eventually flies from our sights. That's about it. My friend and I talk about it to this day. Have had other friends layer on depth with rumors, like that there is an aviation testing facility out in those boonies. Townsend, Delaware if anyone is wondering about locations. Not that weird and possible explanations but... Home alone. Mask on shelf far from bed. Go sleep. Wake up, mask in bed next to me. The room was locked. I could have been sleepwalking, but I don't know. I never did that before. Be working security in the loony bin. Working in the wing with one of the highest rates of self-forever sleep. Supposedly haunted. My pod in particular. Housed the totally homeless, drug addicted, no visitors, etc. Basically the dregs of society outside of the asylum. Doing my rounds. Walk by the showers. Think bathroom stalls with a shower head. See feet under the stall. Think I'm about to get in a fight or see something gross. The feet lift up. Like someone is trying to hide. I rush the stall door. Sparta kick it open. Door slams into the wall. Nobody. Cell near the shower. Ha ha ha, Orion, the ghost get into ya boy. I guess so. Go down to my partner. Saw ghosts, man. Well. Yet. Hot summer night. Always sleep with door closed. Sleeping with open door scares me. Decide to sleep with door open for ventilation anyway. Wake up in middle of night. Feel something's off. Instinctively look at open door. See a little, naked boy. Looks like a corpse. Look at him for 30 seconds while trying to find flashlight with my hand. Think any hallucination would have worn off by now. Also get a good look at him. Looks like he stopped moving mid-step while sneaking into my bedroom. Is standing on one leg, trying to hold still and not make any sound, but is shaking around a little. Black eyes, extremely pale, facing me. Neutral facial expression. Scared he'll just jump onto my bed and charge me once he's sure I'm awake. Find flashlight. Point at him. He's gone. After all this was over, I screamed in fear. First time I ever did that. Still curious as to why I didn't scream once I saw him, but only once he was gone. Here's some wholesome content for you all. Be born and raised Catholic. Become steadily more serious about the faith since 2015. 2017 filled with strange occurrences, up to October. Going to Mass one Saturday evening at my local cathedral. Get up at the offertory, roughly the middle of Mass, to go to the bathroom. Walk around the back of the cathedral. In the back of all the pews see a very big statue stood up in the pews. This statue is fucking huge, sticking way up out of the seat. It's a statue of somebody in a green robe with a staff. Think this is weird. Go to the restroom. Walk back around the back of the cathedral. Get back to where the statue is. The statue has shrunk. It's now very tiny, barely visible in the seat. Am amazed but don't say anything. Go back to my seat. Go through the rest of Mass. After Mass is dismissed, get up and check the back pew again. The statue is totally gone. I figured out later who it was, a statue of Saint Jude the Apostle, patron saint of desperate causes. I've been praying to him for intercession since I was very young. I have a few small paranormal experiences but nothing really scary or substantial. Hanging out in my apartment. University town, very old houses on my street. For my country they are old but only like 150 years. My building specifically is very old. Students been living there for a long time. There is a long hallway in the middle of the apartment connecting the new kitchen to the older main room. My bedroom is near the older end of the house. Many times while I am looking down the hallway I can see a distinct dark figure for about half a second. I noticed that they looked different in stature almost every time I saw them. One of the figures is more menacing than the other, I can tell this one is male somehow and extremely tall, somewhat thin. I decide to sage the house and have a purification ritual. The tall figure is no longer present, the shorter figure still shows up from time to time. I feel no ill will or malice from the shorter figure, so I don't have a problem with this. Another time in my kitchen I was washing the dishes and thinking about business ideas. Washing dishes and thinking to myself. Have a small mental breakthrough, and suddenly I hear what I can only describe as the word of God. It sounds like angels, I can only describe as pure light and noise. Some sort of sweet airy singing. This noise did not come from my own mind because I was thinking of something completely random at the time. I would consider myself a skeptic because I haven't seen much, more so what I've felt. I also suffered some hallucinations in elementary school because of a sickness I had, so I generally know how to tell what's real and what's fake. Maybe the bullies in HS were right and I really am schizo. A few experiences I've had in past couple of months. Live on farm. Live on 50 acres. Most of it is woodland. Hear animals outside. Sheep, and llama. It's a little past midnight. Grab nearby flashlight. Shine light out from kitchen window. See something crawling on ground. Lanky, emaciated, gray creature. My light catches its attention. Creature stop its army crawling. Turns towards my direction. Notice its eyes glow yellow. Middle of forehead begins to tingle. Feeling akin to foot falling asleep. My vision begins to become blurry. I look away from the creature. My eyesight returns to normal. Do a double take like a idiot. Sight blurs again once I make eye contact. Creature gets up, and runs away into woods. Sketch of the thing I saw outside. This was about 2 months ago. Stranger things have been happening ever since I saw this thing. This is something that happened like 2 weeks ago. I was camping with my friend in front of a desertic beach, sort of shit, so the tent had this window, and we saw this very luminescent star. There was no moon, so the stars were bigger and stuff. So this star actually stays put for about 2 hours. Then in the middle of the conversation the star moves down slowly upon a mountain and starts changing color. Green, blue, yellow, white. I was astonished. And all of a sudden the star just disappeared. We actually checked on our hands to see if we weren't dreaming or something. 'Cause they say in a dream you can't see your hands, or I don't know. Posted a few times over the years. Live in Southern California suburb, not your typical suburb, however. Hanging out with friends circa 2012, we are about 14 to 15. Walking on road that used to dead end into a dirt road cordoned off by a fence with a big hole in it. Leads up to different road, they are connected now. The edges of this city are basically just foothills leading to San Bernardino Mountains or to bullshit places with no houses. While walking up this dirt hill you are able to see into the backyards of 6 to 7 houses. One house has a moving motion light, it literally pans the backyard. Going